Bedford time. We're on the van again, which I've been repairing because if you've seen my post-sale appraisal video, then there was quite a list of faults to work through. One of the more major faults was with the engine. Now, just to recap for people's benefit, when I went to test drive this van, I was aware that the engine wasn't quite performing how it should, especially when I tried to do a hot restart. It didn't want to know. I also checked the radiator water with the engine both cold when I arrived and hot, and there was an oily sort of film on top of the coolant when viewed in the radiator from the filler neck. Now that generally only means one thing, and I'd had it before on the Morris Minor after a head gasket went faulty on that, so I knew in what sort of camp I was in with it. Not a big deal really. A head gasket is neither here nor there. It's a day or two's work, 2 days work at most, depending on how thorough you are, and I am thorough with the cleaning, etc. and preparation. A head gasket, no problem, easy job. It didn't help that there were several other faults actually, all manifesting themselves in a poor running engine and a refusal to start when hot. I'd trace some of it to that god-awful electronic ignition, which I've replaced with the correct points and ignition coil you can just see there, including the cold start circuit. I don't think I've detailed that yet, so I'll save it for another video anyway. Essentially, it'll suffice to say now that I returned it to its factory specification as it should be. So with the electronic ignition gone, things did improve, as you will see now in the clip of the engine running before I did the compression test. So it was running quite well, all things considered, but yes, it was still losing water. There were no external leaks, which could only mean it was being lost in the engine. There was also quite an excess of steam from the exhaust, and it was still slightly reluctant to start when hot, even though it was nowhere near as bad as it was at first. So I took out all the spark plugs, engine hot of course, throttle wide open, and did a compression test. You can only get accurate compression readings with a hot engine, and you've got to hold the throttle wide open, which is easily done. So there were the results. I've even written the date. That's how little time I've had just at the moment to spare on this vehicle. But you can see the results there. I was pleasantly surprised at how good numbers 1 and 4 were. That's quite excellent, that 160. But as I expected, and there were defects, numbers 2 and 3. So there was only one thing for it: off with its head. So the rocker covers off, manifolds side cover for the push rods there. That was a swine of a job. That's been the hardest thing yet, because a bit of a weird design really, and the gasket's broken on it, annoyingly, but I've got a new one. A weird design because the bottom half is secured to the crankcase and the top half is secured to the cylinder head. So that had to be removed, which entailed removal of the distributor again. But anyway, I'm just about to take the valve gear off, and I find this without even putting a spanner to it. So that's not good, not good at all. And I've just cracked off the cylinder head nuts here, some of them, the ones I could get to, these 5, and that centre one felt a lot looser than the others. So what are we going to see when I remove it? Right, heads off. Done a lot of dismantling today, a lot. But I've got to the stage I wanted to, just as I'm losing the light. It's actually been honed, so there's been some work done on it. I only hope inside the pistons, bottom end, etc. was done to a better standard than what I've seen. Actually, just a second. I can't believe my eyes here. Half the gasket's missing. Surely half the bloody gasket is missing. Where's the copper part? Let me go and check the cylinder head, see if it's stuck to that. There's an out. Absolutely no. Bloody hell, man. There's absolutely nothing there. Who the flaming hell has done that? So half the gasket is missing. Well, 2/3 actually, because there's that bottom piece I took off, steel or something. Then there's a sort of middle asbestos piece, and then the top copper part, which should go against the cylinder head, and that's not here. So who the bloody hell has done that? You know what, I didn't actually want to take the valves out or strip the valve gear, but I'm thinking now that would be a wise precaution from the foregoing, from what I've seen now. I mean, that's bloody disaster waiting to happen for a start. That little spring ring has come off the top hat oil seal there. You see that? The little spring compared to the one on the right next to it. Well, I don't want to be removing this anytime again soon, so yeah, I'll just go for it. Full top end cylinder head overhaul. But that is that's incredible. It's actually a wonder it ran as well as it did. What a bastard. What a bastard. So that's the current state of affairs. Cylinder head is off. I'm gonna take the valves out just to examine the valve seatings. They may need lapping in again. I'm not sure, but certainly 160 pounds per square inch of compression is very good there. The engine has been rebuilt, so there's been some work done on it. Certainly the bores have been honed. You can see that through this crisscross scouring pattern there. That is the sign of a horned cylinder bore. More concerning for me, and the other three are okay, this is just number 4. More concerning for me are those marks on the bore. That could be a gudgeon pin, or on this particular engine the gudgeon pins are held in with a circlip. Shouldn't be any problems, but there shouldn't have been any problems with it in the first place, really. It's not a complex engine. So that is a sort of cause for concern. That may be why it was honed, I don't know. But what I would like to do, just for peace of mind, is remove the sump and take the pistons out, because just going from what I've seen so far, I haven't got much trust in the rest of the engine just yet. I don't want to be setting off on a long journey. I get to Birmingham on the M6 and the engine starts knocking and it's lost oil pressure and it's a wrecked engine then, or I certainly wouldn't be going any further. I don't want to break down like that. So for peace of mind, ideally I want to remove the sump, which is going to be quite a big job I'll deal with in future. I want to remove the sump, take these pistons out, make sure the rings have been installed correctly, make sure there are no issues with the little end, the gudgeon pins, and also check the main and big end bearings have been, well, certainly the main bearings, they won't need disturbing, but I'll certainly check that they've been torqued up to the correct figure. So not the best of starts, but I'm getting there. Not much else to say really. Onwards and upwards. If you like this one, then be sure to stay tuned for the next one. Cheers.